The time has come to talk once again about Kaedagami. If you've already heard the explanation in previous videos about what kind of video this is, feel free to skip ahead to chapter 1. But for the rest of you, this is a compilation video featuring every single chapter review I have ever done for this series from my normal Shonen Jump review series that I do on this channel. And yes, I am doing 2 compilation videos back to back. I normally don't do that, but oh hey, I don't have to be secretive about it anymore. Bleach month is coming, so, you know, duty calls. So I figured I'd just get like a more low effort video out this week just to get something out there. And if you're wondering why Majora's Mask is the object of choice this week, I am Manga Cage, a YouTuber that covers Weekly Shonen Jump every single week, every issue, every series within it, starting all the way back from the 2nd chapter of this series, actually. It was the debut week of Ekidenbro, is another video I did, which you can go check out. Since I only missed 1 chapter of this series, I figured in addition to the compilation of every other chapter review I did, I would just go ahead and reread chapter 1 and review it now. So in addition to this intro bit and the post-mortem at the end, which is a newly recorded segment where I reflect on the series now, I will also have a brand new chapter 1 review that will be a wild contrast in quality compared to the literal first episode of this show I did that you will see immediately after. I actually did rewatch this even before recording this, and it's rough. It's really not good. I don't really say a damn thing about the chapter. Bear with me on that. A lot of the early ones are not great, but I'm compiling them anyways for history's sake. And also, again, if you are new here, these videos are not video essays or recaps of the story or anything of the like. The original context of the videos are intended to be companion pieces to reading the magazine yourself. So there's no effort to explain the story throughout any part of the process. So if this sounds entertaining to you, go ahead and watch the rest of this video. Otherwise, see you later. Don't bother watching. Goodbye. See you later.
And it's mommy makeout day.
Kaedagami, Chapter 1, A Normal Family. You know what? Majora's Mask actually ended up being a great choice for the item. I forgot she wore a mask in the first chapter. See, it was all planned, guys. So honestly, this chapter is awesome as hell. I was pretty lukewarm on talking about chapter 2 at least, you know, that you'll see momentarily. But chapter 1 is awesome. I forgot how cool this chapter is. This series had sauce. Like, this was really rad. All the art was very nice to look at. The creature designs, while, you know, we don't see a whole lot in this chapter, they're pretty nice. The setting, the world, the characters are all very nice. And if you forgot what this series is about, it's about a kid named Ko and a girl named Chiyo. Well, it's not actually a girl, it's a Shengwai, something like that. And I don't really exactly, I'm not good with Chinese pronunciation. These are Chinese-based entities, I believe. A lot of Chinese names throughout the run of the series, and I'm very bad at pronouncing Chinese words. Shengwei, I think. Shengwei. Shengwei. Maybe Shengwei? I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. Which is basically a demon, you know, classic manga stuff. This was definitely in the era where we were getting a lot of like demon hunting, exorcist-esque manga, and this falls right into that category. But the big draw for a lot of people, I remember when the series first came out, everybody was talking about Chiyo. That was it. Yeah, she's hot. It is what it is. It's definitely the biggest draw of the series for a lot of people, at least it was. Obviously, the series didn't last, but at the time, it got a lot of buzz because of her and her only. But yeah, it's about Ko, you know, just kind of developing a relationship with her, not like that kind of relationship, but a more, I don't know, friendly, and it's not parental by any means. It's just, I don't know, they're friends, they're good buddies that spent a lot of their time together while Ko was growing up. And it's a really sweet relationship, honestly. It's very nice to see play out throughout the course of this chapter, and then obviously everything coming together at the end where you finally get to see her face, and yep, beautiful. Go figure. It is a very good design. Even beyond her just being hot or whatever, it's just a really nice looking design. It's a cool hat. I like the eyes, the you know, homophobia in the eyes, classic. I bet, you know what? I think I used that same joke in this series review somewhere. Maybe. That might have been a different series. I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? And the idea of the series, like the rest of it, is to track down her missing body parts. First it was her face, which is what is recovered in this episode, chapter, not episode. And then so on and so forth. They gotta find her like right leg, left arm, upper thigh, whatever, all that shit, until she's complete again. That's the general goal of this series. Then Ko gets, you know, like powers from her or whatever. And while minimal, the action is also pretty rad. I thought it was drawn really well. I mean, obviously in this chapter, it's basically nothing. It's like one attack for the most part, but it looked great. for what it was. Yeah, as a first chapter, it's really strong, honestly. I think it's very simple. It just tells a really simple, like almost, one-shot-esque story, which is what first chapters usually are like. This could be like a self-contained thing if you give it like more of an ending, obviously, this because it still leaves everything open at the end. But it's a pretty self-contained story, and it works really well. I actually really like this chapter. And if memory serves, it does kind of maintain the same quality throughout its run. Like, I was never over the moon about this series by any means, but it was a good read. I'm getting into post-mortem talk. I should save that. You'll see what I have to say about the rest of the chapters, but yeah, chapter 1, very, very solid. I was thoroughly impressed with how much I ended up liking it. I forgot that this series actually had an extremely strong first chapter. Probably because it's more forgettable for me because I didn't get to talk about it on this show. But yeah, right on. This was sick. Now, go ahead and check out Me in the Past for the remaining 16 chapters. And we'll catch back up again in the post-mortem.
And it's mommy makeout day.
Okay, Tagami, chapter 2, A Fine Young Man. Now, obviously, this is a brand new series. It's just started last week. It's still, still getting its footing. It's tropey. I sensed that last week as well, but obviously it's being further accentuated here. The girl Chio, the main female lead, has a little cute owl form, which I enjoy a lot, actually. But that's kind of it. It's just like it's a child. They start their journey to find Chio's other body parts, and the protagonist Ko uses his new powers, that sword, to like kill an ancient serpent thing that was like terrorizing this village, and they're all grateful to him. That was kind of a sweet scene, just to see people like care about him. It's not much to say about it still. It's a fine series. The art is nice enough. It's cute. I do like this owl design, but not much to really say about it. It's not really standing out to me yet. See how it goes.
And it's mommy makeout day.
Kayatagami, chapter 3, A Little Bit Angry. So, I'm starting to pick up the vibe of this series. We seem to be doing like an episodic sort of deal, except this one's actually bleeding into the next chapter for the first time in the series. But I mean, that's saying absolutely nothing because we're 3 chapters in. But I only expect this to be like a 2-chapter ordeal anyways. But we have this interesting like donkey themed demon, or what were they, Shengguai or something? I'll learn it one of these days. Like freaky abusive parent type deal who runs a food stand. Yeah, I mean, seemingly they're gonna solve the problem and save this little girl who could end up being a main member of the cast. Who knows? We're so early, it's hard to tell. But yeah, I mean, it's got charm. It's something. I don't know. It's not really clicking for me. It's early, so maybe it will. But if this is all the series is, it's just kind of like episodic, deal with this demon, save this person. I mean, it'll be an entertaining read, but I assume that this will be more than that. It'll open up into something grander. And I also don't really know if I like the sound of that. So we'll see. This is, right now, this is just a series. That's about all I can say about it. I really gotta let this one create its own identity, if it has one to create. It's just not sticking out in my head right now. It doesn't have a lot going for it, I'll be honest.
And it's mommy makeout day.
Okay, Tagami, chapter 4. Let me try this one. Bong Kwao San Nyangshi. Is that anything? Did I do good? So this chapter is pretty good, actually. I'm starting to. I think I said the same thing last time. I'm starting to pick up the vibe. I just it's finding its footing. This is our first chapter that isn't an extended length because we're on chapter 4 now. First 3 are always a little longer. And yeah, it worked. This is the conclusion to this like donkey demon thing. It's very tropey. This is a classic like first villain type deal where it's kind of a pushover. It's just like it's all talk, and the main character just deals with it and then is thanked tearfully by the people he saved and yada yada. But then we get a cool little tease at the end with this guy or this person. I don't know what gender they are, but they come up and say that they have information on where to get the rest of Chio's body parts, or however it works. So moving the plot along, neat little thing to happen. This is a pretty solid like first threat, I would say. You know, it's effective, it works, it has some heart behind it. I'm down. You know, this series isn't super impressing me or anything. I still really get that feeling that this will not last. But it's a series. I'm reading it. It's, you know, it keeps me entertained in some capacity at least.
And it's mommy makeout day.
Kayutagami Chapter 5, Heavy as It Should Be. Much easier title to say than last week's. And I don't have a whole lot in particular to say about this one, but instead I'd like to talk about just the art and how it's growing on me a lot. I think it's a really nice art style. It's pretty loose with its like proportions and facial structure. They just kind of like blob around a lot. I continue to like the relationship between Chio and the main character, whose name I guess I can't be bothered to remember because I still don't know it, but I'll get there one day. I mean, just more setup this chapter. You know, it's fine. I'm excited to see this actually get into a proper story, which is definitely where we're going now. It's very clear by the ending of this chapter that we're going to get into like a arc, probably, or something akin to it at least. Even if it's just a short little thing, we're gonna get like a story happening finally, which I'm excited to see. I want to see what this series can do, because for now it has felt a little aimless, admittedly. And I mean aimless in the sense that it's just not focused. Like, obviously the main goal is to get Chio's body parts back. But I don't feel like we are really... I don't see the path to make that happen, per se. But now I do. We're just going to keep fighting people that have the body parts until it happens. Which, fair enough. Cool. I mean... if that's what this series is, then sure. It is very similar to Fabricant 100. It grows more and more similar by the day.
And it's mommy makeout day.
Kayutagami Chapter 6, Bing and the Chongui. These chapter titles, I'm not used to reading titles like this, so it catches me off guard every time there is a chapter like this. This was an okay chapter. I thought it was kind of cool. We got some really cool, interesting action and cool art. Some of the action's a little hard to read, I will admit. The paneling's not the greatest thing in the world, but this is something that I'm sure can be improved over time. So I'm not too worried about it, unlike in Odor of the Flame, where shit's just falling apart second by second. This is fine. This is chill. I don't mind it at all. I enjoyed this chapter. I do like getting a little insight into what exactly Chio, what body parts of Chio's were actually missing, because I wasn't really fully grasping that. She's missing her hands, her feet, in her stomach at least, which we learned, but there might be other like internal organs missing that we can't really see. But we run into the guy that has her right hand, I think her right hand, one of her hands, I'm pretty sure it's the right one. He's a huge asshole like everybody else we've encountered so far in the series, and that gets the protagonist riled up to take him down and get the hand back. Which, by the way, I still do not remember the protagonist's name. It has not stuck yet. They don't say it enough. They gotta say it more. That's something you gotta nail in the first couple chapters. You gotta be saying that protagonist's name all the time. They're saying Chio all the time. I got that down. I'm not gonna forget that. But I feel like they never say this guy's name, unless I'm just like somehow blacking out every time I read it, which is possible. Maybe it's just a really forgettable name. Yeah, not bad chapter at all. I enjoyed my time with it, for sure.
And it's mommy makeout day.
Kayutagami Chapter 7, Empty. So, it's a cool chapter. You know, nothing too crazy to say about it. It is an action chapter. Learning a little bit more about our characters, how they feel about each other, yada yada. Seeing the resolve of Ko, who, by the way, I have his name down now. It's just Ko. It's 3 letters. It's not hard to remember. But yeah, I guess the notable thing to talk about here is the ending, where we seem to be, I guess, because, you know, Chio was supposed to take Ko over, like, to be her new vessel or whatever, but we kind of have this weird, like, sort of contract deal instead. But this seems to be her, like, actually taking over and becoming, like, taking over his body and fighting in it, which, it was cool how it was done, like the weird drippy body and stuff. It looked neat. Yeah, a pretty good chapter. You know, I can't say I'm too locked in or interested in this series, unfortunately. I don't know why. I do see a lot of positivity about it, which is great. I'm sure I'll get there one day. You gotta remember, I mean, obviously this channel wasn't around back then, but when Kagurabashi started, I wasn't a big fan of it. But over time, it won me over a lot, and now I love it. this could be the same thing here. I may not be feeling it now all that much, but as it progresses, I might start to fall in love. But as of now, I think this series is just fine. You know, I read it, I don't dislike it or anything. It's something I read and I move on. But I'm hoping as it progresses, this will be something I start to slow down a bit more for. Like I kind of hone in, I lock in, and I want to know what happens and I care about what's gonna happen. Just not there yet.
And it's mommy makeout day.
Hey Tagami, chapter 8, so much fun. This was pretty interesting. This is probably the most interested I've been in the series so far. Now, I mean, elephant in the room, this is the first time the series has been ranked. It's at number 9. Not bad, not good. It's kind of in the middle. So, really not sure what that means for it. I personally don't see this one being a hit, but that's not to say I think it'll be a flop. It might be something akin to Ultimate Exorcist Kyoshi, or something like that, like a mild success. But anyways, this chapter was really cool. I like this concept here, and I like that we're now setting up what could be like an arc villain, main villain, who knows? You can never really know. Nuba, yeah. Nuba is this woman's name, presumably a woman, who Chiyo has some history with, which we'll get into soon, probably next chapter. This is interesting stuff. I think there's potential here for me to get fully on board with what this series is trying to do, because this, I'm sure, will set up our main plot in a much more interesting way than has already been done. Because thus far, it's a fine plot. It's just kind of going through the motions, you know. But this is already adding something more unique. So I'm excited to see what we get out of this. It could disappoint, we'll see. But as of now, intriguing, interesting, cool stuff.
And it's mommy makeout day.
Okay, Tagami chapter 9, Nuba. So the series must be doing pretty well, because this is another week of a pretty high placement, all things considered, for a new series. Pretty impressive. And the chapter itself, pretty solid. I'm starting to really get this. I think I said the same thing last week, but the story is starting to make itself known. I think we're getting somewhere. We're getting to a point where we can start to understand what this series is trying to do, what story is trying to tell. This Nuba character is interesting. I don't feel main villain vibes from this character. I feel more like arc villain vibes, but we will see. She is interesting. I like the setup at the beginning, how this Nuba character was like the yin to Chiyo's yang, or however, which way you want to say that. And I like the moment of Ko getting the hand back. That was cool. Giving it back at the end. I don't know which hand it is. Doesn't really matter at this point. But a hand's a hand. That's going to be pretty big for Chiyo, I'd imagine, having one of her hands back. And I think the two characters that showed up, whose names I'm forgetting, will be sort of I'm getting like kind of Demon Slayer vibes from them, like sort of kind of like Lady Tamayo kind of deal, and her bodyguard, whatever that guy's name was. I don't know why. They're not really that similar at all, but that's just kind of what came to mind when seeing them and seeing them do what they did in this chapter. But they seem like interesting enough side characters. I will be interested to learn more about them and see where they fit in the story going forward. Good stuff. The series might stick around. It seems like we'll see. It's too early to tell, really. We've seen stuff like this before, and it still gets axed. But pretty impressive placements for chapter 9.
And it's mommy makeout day.
Hey, Tagami, chapter 10, Nasty Bugs. You know, guys, I'm really starting to like this series. I didn't really care for it a whole lot at first. It took me a while to warm up to it and to catch on to what it was doing, trying to say, I guess. But now that I'm on board, I think I like this series. It's obviously really, really reminiscent of Fabricant 100, if any of you have ever read that. It was an old, not old, but a few years old. I hesitate to call it flopped, because I think it did last slightly longer than a normal flop series. It's been a minute, though. I might be misremembering that. Very similar to it. Like, on all fronts, incredibly similar. Except the fact that Chiyo is more comfortably good, whereas the Fabricant 100 woman, whose name I completely forgot. I think it was actually just Fabricant 100. I don't know if she had a name. Wait, was she even 100? I don't know. I forget. Yeah, she was. She was. That's why it was called that. I think 99 was the villain, or 1 was the villain. Man, I don't know. It's been a while. Anyways, Chiyo's more comfortably like a good person, whereas Fabricant 100 was kind kind of a mixed bag. He didn't really know where her allegiances truly lied. But Chio does seem like a good-hearted person at the moment, at least. But she can, as we've just seen, like last chapter, that can flip on a dime. And that's interesting, because she used to be something far bigger and scarier than what she is right now. And as we inch closer to her being her original self, I wonder if we'll have to have herself grappling with her past in any capacity, or if she's just totally locked in on Ko right now and doesn't really care about much else. And I like that. I think this will be a pretty entertaining read overall. It's shaping up to be something unique and entertaining at the very least. And really, that's all you need to make a good series at the end of the day.
And it's mommy makeout day.
Itagami Chapter 11, Theater Troupe. So I keep talking about a little series called Fabricant 100. And this just keeps being more and more like it. Now, I could be remembering wrong because it's been a while since Fabricant 100 existed. And it's not like I think about it all the time, but I am pretty damn sure that series had like a theater troupe arc. Like a little part of the story where they had to deal with like a fabricant who was like in a theater troupe, I think. Or maybe it was like a beauty pageant. I don't know. But either way, it's like very similar timing and structure to this, if memory serves. And that's not a bad thing for Kaitagami. I mean, I think this is actually a super engaging setup. I'm really interested in where this goes. I think this new character, whose name I haven't gotten down quite yet, that's with Ko right now, she's really cool. I think it's a really nice design, and her, like, I don't want to say like abilities, or just like her skills are cool and fun to look at. It's like a flexible acrobatic type fighter, which is always fun to see. Yeah, I mean, good setup overall. I'm really I'm actually quite looking forward to this new arc, apparently, or whatever this is. This could be a short thing, but I feel like this will be one of those like the first long stretch of story for Kaitagami here. Maybe not a proper arc, but something longer than just like 2 or 3 chapters, Yeah, good hook, good start. I'm excited to see this. And we also have, Ko kind of on his own here, which is exciting too. Not really having to deal with Chio in this moment. So this is new territory for the series, and I think that's exciting.
And it's mommy makeout day.
Kaitagami Chapter 12, Perfectly Beautiful. Concerningly low placement this week, but it's okay. Placement's not everything. Wouldn't count this one out yet. I think it'll be okay. But this chapter was okay. This wasn't exactly what I wanted from the setup for this arc, but it's not bad at all. Very fast paced, very kind of by the numbers, kind of not. Also, it's kind of, that could be said about this series in general, to be honest. And unfortunately, kind of just left me with not a whole lot to say about it. It's it was serviceable. I think the character interactions were really solid as per usual. That's not really anything new. Yeah, just kind of okay. There's some intrigue though there at the end, so I'm curious to see where it goes next chapter. But this, as a standalone chapter, was fine. Not much to say about it, really.
And it's mommy makeout day.
Here we go, Chapter 13, Irredeemable Idiot. Okay, this is hooking me more. Last week I talked about how I thought this was moving really fast, and I had wished this would expand itself into an arc, because we haven't really done that yet in the series. That might be happening. It does kind of, it's taking its time more. I felt last week moved really fast, but we didn't really have the full scope of what was happening here yet. Now we have the full picture, and I can feel it, expanding. I think our scope is getting bigger, and we are going to have, I don't know, maybe not a super long like arc here, but this is probably going to be at least, maybe a volume's worth of content here. Really like the development we're getting for the characters here, and just the plot in general is moving in a neat direction that I wasn't really expecting. It's kind of hard for me to find the right words to say about this chapter, but at its core, I liked it. I think I'll have more to say as we start to unfold what the plot of this is going to be. Yeah, so far so good. I'm liking this a lot, and I think it's really cool. And it's definitely something that the series needed. For me personally, at least. I can't speak for everybody.
And it's mommy makeout day.
Kaitagami Chapter 14, the same thing. Unfortunately, guys, I have to speed run these last few chapters because my camera's about to die, and I have limited time to record, yada yada, whatever. Okay, so I like this chapter. I think it's getting into the weeds on this arc. It's actually super interesting and engaging right now. I really like the dynamic that there seems to be between these two characters, the villain and the girl. Sorry, I don't I don't know their names yet. Nor do I have time to find out right now. I'm sorry. But really nice art as per usual, and a lot of cool build up for this antagonist here. It just makes her seem really creepy, and I love that. Love a creepy woman villain. Always works.
And it's mommy makeout day.
Origami chapter 15, Temptress. I was really impressed by this chapter. I've been liking the series more and more. Specifically this little arc here, I've been really enjoying. Even if it is moving fast, it doesn't need to be anything more than it is, though, at the end of the day. I really like this. I'm especially drawn in by this last page. It's just really, something about it just really captures me. I don't know. It's not even like particularly interesting. Like, it's not good paneling. It's not like incredible art or anything. It's just, I just like it. And, what she's saying is also really, really poignant. I'm really liking this antagonist a lot. Like, in the only way you can like antagonist. I hate her, but you love to hate her, that kind of deal. And Ko's a real one. He gets to drop some bars here. I'm really warming up to Ko a lot. He was never like the most interesting protagonist to me, and he still kind of isn't interesting, but he's very likable. I like to see him do things. And at the end of the day, that's really all you need out of a protagonist. I guess to put it into short form, I think this series is doing its job very well. It isn't doing much beyond that, like it isn't blowing my mind, but I was impressed by this chapter specifically.
And it's mommy makeout day.
Chapter 16, Changed. This is a good chapter. I'm very happy to see that even though Ko got like what looked like the finishing blow here, we still got to let I don't know how to say her name really. I think Huazai. I'm pretty sure it's Chinese, and that's not exactly my forte. I got very used to pronouncing Japanese names throughout my entire life of knowing anime, but hit me with a Chinese name and I'm kind of dead in the water. Something like that, though. But the fact that she gets to come in and actually, do what appears to be the finishing move here, I think, like, she at least gets to finish the fight. We'll probably see more of what that exactly looks like next chapter, but seemingly, that's nice, and I like to see that. I don't like when main characters steal a moment from a side character just because they are the main character. It's nice to see an actual balance here. Yeah, good chapter all around. I can't say the series is exactly like impressive or anything. It's not like a mind-blowing game changer, but it is a solid read so far that I've been enjoying. I don't know if it'll last. It's hard to tell. It is ranking low, but it's kind of it's in the area of the TOC where it's just like it's hanging on by a thread. It's not exactly like flopping, but it's not doing amazing. It's just bouncing back and forth from like the bottom of the middle to the top of the middle of the middle. It's whatever. We'll see. It's doing okay though, I guess, seemingly, and I'm down to stick with it for as long as it lasts. I like it enough.
And it's mommy makeout day.
Origami final chapter, Happiness. All right. So they went with the whole, like, many more adventures to come kind of ending. Yeah. And what more can you do? They were really written into a hole here because I don't think they knew the axe was coming. This is so weird. So this is one of the weirdest axes I have read. And I've read a lot of axes. I've been reading this magazine, from front to back for quite a few years now. And this one is so bizarre because it wasn't doing terribly. It wasn't good. Like, the sales of the first volume were meh. It was getting like decent placements on the TOC. And I thought I saw a lot of decent discussion about it online. Like, people weren't hating it. And that's usually a good sign. You can say the same thing about Ping Pong Peril, though, but that one, I'll talk about Ping Pong Peril more whenever it actually ends. This, though, it was fine. This was a decent story. It wasn't bad in any means. It was just kind of a serviceable story. And is that why it was axed? Maybe. It's not doing anything crazy. It was kind of middling. It's a middling series. I didn't love it or anything, but I thought it had potential. But to see the potential just completely snuffed out here. Like, it's just gone. Like, you are not letting this thing do anything. It even like its final arc here did not feel conclusive. I didn't get the sense that this was going to end. You didn't hear me talk about last week. I was just talking about like any other chapter. Had no idea this was about to end. Whereas these other series, I'm like, okay, I can see this ending. I can see they got the axe warning here. You know, but this, I never picked up on that. And it's really sad to me. I think Shueisha has been, and the current editor-in-chief, I don't know his name off the top of my head, but he just took over in the last few years. Very cutthroat. This is very tight competition all of a sudden. It's like they're really striving for the best of the best to be in the magazine right now. And maybe that's needed. They are losing a lot of series, big name series. One Piece is, you can say it's on its way out, but come on, guys, it's got years left still. But still, they, even before One Piece ends, they are absolutely looking for something to be the next One Piece. Maybe they found it with Ichi. I don't know. It's doing insane, so maybe, honestly. But they aren't letting anything fly right now. Well, you could say Kyoshi, they're being kind to, but I don't know. It's still different to me because stuff like this, Kaitagami, Ping Pong Peril, they're interesting enough. They have things to say, but they're just not being allowed to. They are cut so ridiculously short. 17 chapters is crazy. That's a super flop. That is, like, usually it's 18 at least. 18 is the magic number. 19 if you're lucky. 17 means you gotta get out. Like, you fucking suck. Get the hell out of this thing. And that's just so sad that this had to happen to this. You know, I don't know why this is such a hard loss for me. Like, I can't say it's hard, it's just frustrating, and it is sad to me. Again, the series, it wasn't reinventing the wheel, it wasn't doing anything crazy or special, but it was a solid read. I didn't have a bad time reading it, unlike other things I've read. Nice Prison, Ekidembros, I think those are bad. They should be axed. This isn't one I was thinking, like, get this thing out of here. Or even, like, Ping Pong Peril I put in a different tier because as much as I like Ping Pong Peril, I knew it wouldn't last. I just knew that that wasn't going to click with most audiences. But this felt like really safe. And that's something I said as a criticism early on, actually, that this is just a really safe by the numbers series. But because of that, I thought it would stick around. And back when I said that the first time, I meant that as like a negative thing. Like, oh, here comes this by the numbers basic ass shit that's going to last for like hundreds of chapters. But now I see it in a different light because it's just like, wow, we're not even letting stuff like this stick around in the magazine anymore. And maybe that's a good thing in the long term of the magazine. Oh, man, I don't know. My thoughts are all over the place. It's just such a weird decision that happened here. I'm excited to read your thoughts about it as well because this was such a weird one. I had no inclination that it was ending, and I almost wonder if the author even did either because it's just such a weird ending. And like, it just, you know, other things like Ping Pong Peril, they announced that it was ending. They didn't do that for this. They didn't do that for Ekidembros. They almost never announce when series are ending that get axed. But we get an ahead of time announcement for Ping Pong Peril, but not these. What is happening? I don't know what's going on. Is that acknowledgement that like Ping Pong Peril was liked by a large group of people, but just not gonna stick around because of mass appeal? Super weird. But they must have some promising new series on their hands if they're just itching to get these out of here because it feels like this in particular, Kaitagami, was just cut insanely short for very little reason. I really think it deserved more of our time to flesh itself out more and become its own thing, but it just wasn't allowed to. And maybe it should have done that faster. Yeah, I know, there's criticism here. I mean, you can look at my score amount. I'm probably going to give this like honestly, like a 4 or 5, maybe not a 4, probably a 5, because yeah, I don't know. It was just whatever. It wasn't that great. But it could have been more. And that's always what's so frustrating about axes. But I don't know. It's just especially hitting differently with this one just because of how weird this whole thing felt. Like, of the three that I knew were going to get axed, never would I have guessed this would be the first. It didn't feel like it was even ending. Oh, it's so weird. It's so weird. Let me know what you guys think. I'm really curious to hear some more thoughts about the whole ordeal that happened with this series because it's just bizarre to me. We will continue talking about this topic for the next 2 weeks with the other two series. I'll probably have even more to say about Ping Pong Barrel in particular. Ekid and Prose, I don't know how much I can muster myself to say, but we'll see. But farewell, Kei Itagami. You were a decent read. And to me, that I feel like that should be something that stays. But I guess Jump is really aiming for top of the shelf stuff right now. Maybe that's to our benefit. Maybe these next 3 series are insane bangers and we'll be thankful that these series were canceled. Just wait and see.
And it's mommy makeout day.
Next is Kei Itagami, which, I mean, that's another pretty easy C for me. It was fine. It had potential, a lot of potential, just like the other things I've been talking about, but it just couldn't quite make it there. It was... I think it kind of got done dirty, personally. I think it should have lasted a little bit longer, but it didn't, and that's the world we live in, so there it belongs, I suppose. It's another mangaka I would love to see something else from soon. I think they deserve it. They got done dirty. Big time. It was still cooking. Seriously, this series was still cooking whenever they cut it off, and that's such a shame.
And it's mommy makeout day.
And that was Kei Itagami, a series that was tragically cut short, along with many others from this batch. I think literally every series from this batch. Wow, was it only a 2-series batch? Was it just this and Ekid and Bros? What was after it? Was there something after it? I don't remember. It's been a minute. Regardless, I thought this was a really solid series, honestly, for the most part. I remember very vividly when this ended, I did not see it coming at all. Like, I felt like there were no signs. Usually, there are signs. A series starts like ramping up its plot, moving to something final. This series opted to just kind of cut it short. Like, they just did its story until they couldn't, and they just stopped. Which isn't really a way of ending a series that you see too often. It definitely happens, but it always takes me by surprise when it does happen. But I kind of dig it and respect it because, I mean, I feel like when they got the axe notice, they were probably like, what am I gonna do? I have like this grand plan for this story. There's no way I can wrap it up this quickly. I'm just gonna say fuck it. And this is what they came up with. It was a fun ride. I really did enjoy my time with it. I thought the art was really nice. The character interactions and designs were really solid for the most part. And I really hope to see this mangaka return in the future. This is not one of those axes that I hated and do not want to see the mangaka return. This is very much one that I want to see in the future. They are very talented. They have a really unique concept here, and I'm sure they can come up with something even more unique in the future. Well, it's not super unique, I guess, but it's unique where it counts, and I think that's what matters. The dynamic between the 2 main characters was always really sweet to see. It never delved too deep into like the weird territory with this relationship. Maybe it would have if it kept going, to be honest, but it remained pretty much a wholesome thing with, I guess, somewhat sexual undertones, but that may just be due to Chiyo's design. Would I recommend reading it now? You know, it's kind of a tough call. It's very short. It's only 17 chapters of your time. It can't take that long, and I mean, you'll get some nice art out of it at least. I can't really say that the story will do anything fulfilling for you, but at least you'll get to look at some pretty pictures. If that sounds good to you, then check it out. And if this manga ever returns in the future, then I would definitely recommend checking this out just to get a good, you know, base understanding of what they're capable of. This manga certainly did not have a good run, but I did have a good time reading it. It is missed. Even now, I still get people in the comments talk about it all the time. It's very fondly remembered, which is surprising. I was never quite that far on the spectrum of liking it. I did enjoy it, but I was always kind of somewhere in the middle with it. It hadn't quite hooked me yet. But the funny thing is it was getting there right before it ended. Like, it was actually starting to get to a place where I was like, okay, this is something. And then it ended. Damn shame. All the best to the mangaka. Really, really hope to see them in the magazine again. Just so much talent here, wasted. Alright guys, that's all I got for this video. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment with your thoughts on Kei-Itagami. Let me know what you think of it now, if you read it back in the day, or if you read it for the first time now. Let me know what you think. I'm always curious to hear new thoughts about old series. Remember, you can also become a channel member at 3 tiers. You can click the join button to see what tier works best for you. You get things like early access to new videos, exclusive monthly videos, your name in the credits, emotes, and if you join at the highest tier, you'll get your name read out loud right now. So thank you to DJ Tengen, Milu Kitty, Braden Farrell, Halfpipe, Rafker, the Cosmer64, Cosmic, Key to the Skies, Iliadis, Noobs Rock, Dan, The World's Worst, Menacing Pigeon, Papa Aeon, Gaming Anime Addict, and BNE.
And our brand new member, Rocket Bacon.
Thank you all so much for your support, and thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys in whatever you decide to watch next. Take it easy, guys.